Hello, my students, my team building, problem solving students. Well, I just finished grading all of the papers that you have submitted for week one, learning plan one. And there was a recurring theme, not from everybody, but it's something that I thought we should talk about because um, it never makes an instructor feel good when students say, uh, we're lost, we're confused, we're frustrated, the book sucks, and it's hard to find time for our teams to meet. I totally understand that. The challenge that we're having right now is that teaching a team building problem solving class online, I'm not there to answer every question you have. I'm not there to step you through and around the hurdles. I'm not there at all. I'm here only as your mentor. Um, Most classes that are online, the curriculum is all self-explained. The assignments are all laid out in a linear form. Um, you read the outline, you understand the outline, and then you do an assignment related to the outline. It's very linear, and that's all right in most settings. But in team building problem solving, it doesn't work very well that way. And the reason why is because when a team is formed in a company, what they're looking for is self-directed teams. Here's our problem. Here's what we need to know. However you want to do it's up to you. Um, Similarly, I'm trying to make this uh, course as realistic as possible related to team building in the virtual world of work, which means that many of you aren't going to be there either. It's always scheduling difficulties. It's always scheduling problems. Everybody's busy, especially post-pandemic. People have gotten used to being with their families and their kids, and they're, taking on two jobs and being a full-time student. Well, good luck with that. Online gives you the greatest amount of flexibility, but there's a downside to it. The downside to it is that I think I probably wrote more for this class than I've written for any other class. All of the how-tos, all of the explanations about what you can expect, my recordings. Uh, I first want to talk about the book. This book has been used for a long time. I've been teaching in this course for over 12 years. And I'm saying to you, it's not the typical textbook. It's more like a manual. It goes through every aspect of team building problem solving, but it's not going to be one of those textbooks where you can go thumb through it necessarily to find the answers to linear questions. It's a how-to manual to conduct good meetings. Now, that leaves you in a place to sort of get together with your team and say, let's try to figure out if we were in a team. Oh, wait a minute, we are. And try to figure out what it is that you need to do. This is a challenge. And brainstorm. Think, well, let's see. I don't want to, I mean, I gave you a tough one to start out with, and I did that on purpose. I made it a little bit, well, more than a little bit. I made it ambiguous. Yes, every company has a problem with being green, being earth friendly, decreasing its carbon footprint. Every company has the same problem. How are we doing on solving that? Not very well. We have a continued dependence on certain fossil fuels. And the providers of fossil fuels and all of those that are linked to fossil fuels like that. But that is not what this planet, and it's not what we need in our community, in our company, or in our world. Now, it's a big problem. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I guess what it would take is to say, what are some of the aspects? I'm not interested in seeing necessarily the outcome of your teamwork. That's really not the process here. The purpose of my team building exercises is to allow your team to kickstart, to get it going, to have productive meetings. You can spend some time saying how frustrated and confused you are, but that is not going to get you a solidified team. Somebody needs to take leadership. Somebody needs to say, let's put together our agenda. And of course, that's all the way up and down the line. The the growing trend in companies today is to have virtual meetings because there's a lot at stake. The profitability is at stake, return on investments at stake. And so instead, my son-in-law works for IBM. He's a project manager. His entire team is spread all over the world. He hadn't even met these people except virtually. And frankly, the company will set a basic goal, as I did, address this issue and see what you can come up with. I'd like to see some of your action items. They might have to do with additional research. They might have to do with looking for best practices. I'm not going to judge you about that. What I want to see is your team building process. We engaged. And what came out of that is some pretty productive stuff. If it doesn't, hey, just keep fiddling with it. You got 8 weeks to kind of figure it out. Um, the way the textbook is used is, and I guess we should just stop calling it a textbook. It's like the phone book. You wouldn't sit down and read it. It's a resource to look things up in. Uh, what does a charter look like? Well, go to the textbook and uh, go to the index in the back and look up charters. It takes you right to the section. Go in there and read chapter 3, page 78. It has I'm just pulling that out of my hat, but it has a charter in there. There are what's included in a charter, who's responsible for the charter, why is a charter helpful, uh, how are minutes conducted, how are problems resolved with team members. These are open-ended questions, the answers of which lie in the book, but it's not the same as most other courses. This is probably the most unique course in the entire college. But I can tell you what, every time I've met with a business or an industry in our region, they tell me two things that are top on their employment list. One is communication. They call them soft skills. And the second is team building, because it's the way of the future. So anyway, we had some glitches with a couple of students in getting into uh, LinkedIn. I don't know why, and I still haven't figured out why. Nobody else seemed to have that problem. Might have been technology. It might have been the computers you're using. I don't know. But once I provided the how-to instructions, it seems like all those problems disappeared. I'm sorry for that. I, for the life of me, I don't know how that happened. But I can imagine you get pretty upset when you can't get in and you wasted all kinds of time to not be able to get into LinkedIn. Every learning plan is going to have LinkedIn videos. Or if not, I put in YouTube videos. There are other sources for educational supplements. But I just want you to know that I'm always here for you. I wouldn't sit in a meeting and everybody's stewing because they're confused. Pick up the phone or get on your laptop and say, Andy, we're stuck. Would you help us? I'm there. All my classes this term are online. Not my favorite mode of delivery. I'd much rather be face to face with you. But we open up an online version, we open up a face to face version. Nobody signs up for the face to face, and I got 27 in the online class. Students are making it clear what they prefer. The final thing I wanted to say, so just ask me. I'm here all the time. This is my office. I love it. I work here all the time, every day and every night. I start in the morning about 7 o'clock in the morning. I open up my office, turn on the lights, it's still dark out, and then I'm always available after supper. I'm available all day long. I don't need a lot of notice. Would you join us? I've joined teams in the moment. Somebody says, hey, call Andy. Let's see if we can get him in here and get this question asked. I've been teaching this long enough to know that there isn't a question I can't answer. Although I take that back, I could not figure out how I had two students amongst the 27 who couldn't get into LinkedIn. That is still a mystery to me. Oh, well. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for any confusion, but I want you to understand that you are growing. And this growth that you're having is going to serve you well in the businesses today. All right. Well, I just took 15 minutes of your time, but I wanted to say these things because I want you to love this course. It's team building, problem solving. How many times have you been frustrated in a team? A lot. Gosh, at this stage of my career, there are so many times when I'd say to myself, geez, if I'd have done this alone, I'd have it done by now. Of course, it might not be correct, or it might not be robust, or it might not be totally inclusive, but I'd have it done. Having it done isn't necessarily our goal. Having the process work is our number one goal. And I'm interested in that process. I expect every one of you to get an A in this course. And if you don't, it's only because somebody decided, I can't do this. I can't, I got too much on my plate. I've had students say to me, if I'd have known this was going to be a team building class where I had to be involved in teams, I wouldn't have taken this stupid class. Like swimming lessons. I can't give you swimming lessons if I don't have any water. And I can't give you a team building class without having you be in teams. So that's my tune, and I'm sticking with it. And take care. I'm here for you. I'll see you soon.